Hey, Talena, how are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you.
Very good. So today I'm chatting with Talena Hadley from Girlie Garage. And we kind of were introduced to each other because we were both on the Cypress Community College advisory committee call a couple weeks ago. And we were talking about getting women involved, younger women at an earlier age involved in tech programs. And we both probably agree middle school, if not sooner, is where it's at. But I want you to tell us a little bit about, your mobile concierge service and then your education and empowerment and what you're doing for women. So I love the fact that you're mobile because from talking with women, I think that allows some flexibility. And is that maybe why you're doing it, or maybe you want to share with us your background and then how you came about to, your business?
Yeah, totally. Well, Girlie Garage launched in the middle of COVID. So I have an associate's degree in automotive. I put myself through an automotive program at a local community college because my car got stolen for the second time. And I didn't want anybody's help putting it back together because I literally just didn't trust anyone.
Wow.
So yeah, so put myself through automotive school. I never really intended on working for a shop. I just wanted the knowledge. I found it incredibly helpful. And I was like, this is something that I'm going to use for the rest of my life. So completed automotive school, actually ended up in different, I worked for so many different race teams. I got to travel the US and Canada.
Really?
Yep. Yep. And then my background allowed me to work at Porsche of San Diego, here in San Diego. And I got to drive all kinds of really nice, really expensive cars for years. And then, I was in the middle of COVID and working on my own projects, and girlfriend of mine came to me and she was like, hey, I just got my oil changed and they're telling me that I need brake pads and rotors all the way around because they're metal to metal. And she's like, they're saying it's going to cost me $2,500. Can you check them for me? And I was like, wait a second, are they making noise? And she's like, no. I was like, then they're not metal to metal. And I was like, holy cow. And she's like, well, they made it sound really scary. Can you please just check them? I carry my kids in this car. I was like, of course. We took her wheel off, checked her brake pads. She needed pads. She didn't need rotors. We were able to do all of her brake pads all the way around and spark plugs on her car for $300.
Oh, that's
And I was
awesome.
like, I need to save my friends, nonetheless, everybody else, and use my skills to help people.
Yeah.
So um, it wasn't really like I thought about being a mobile mechanic. It was just that it was so convenient to be able to just use my own vehicle. I have a two-door Honda Civic. All the tools that I need to help people fit in the trunk and the back seat.
Stop it.
So
No
yeah,
way. Oh my
yeah. I mean, you should
goodness.
see the Honda Odyssey I've torn apart out front. Everything fits in the trunk. So, yep.
That's awesome.
I mean, obviously, I don't have a lift. I do work on the ground, but the ability to help people sprung from that. And then it just it kind of snowballed. So I realized I could help people physically with my own two hands, but that the knowledge was where the power came from.
Your passion,
So
right?
yeah,
Like,
well, just like that saying where if you feed a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. If you teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime.
mhm.
Same thing with automotive. It's not like you're just gonna tomorrow stop driving cars. So, especially in the United States where we don't have a ton of public transportation.
Right.
And so it was like, okay, how am I going to reach more people? And so that's where the education and empowerment piece came into play, because educating someone about their personal vehicle and how to find those resources means that you'll save money and save anxiety, like just not be so anxious about it over the entire lifetime of driving and owning vehicles.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. So tell us a little bit about how you educate the general public and other women.
One of my favorite things to do is a one-on-one info session, and I can do that either in person or virtually. I mean, I've helped people as far as Hawaii, Washington, Colorado. I mean, I help people all over the country. And it's really cool because you're working on your own car. So it's like, okay, well, where is this? How does that work? And really just kind of getting like a basic knowledge and also familiarizing yourself with automotive terms so that when that mechanic is talking at you, you're feeling a little better about, okay, they said this, and now I know how to find out if what they're saying is true.
Yeah.
The next thing is really like talking about automotive quotes. So if you went to an auto shop, just like my friend Marianne, and they said, oh, you need to spend all this money doing these weird things, and you're like, wait a second, do I really need to do that? There's a way to kind of just work through that. And I work through that together with a lot of people just to confirm or deny if that work needs to be done.
So if I understand, if they get a quote and their car's at a dealership or independent, then they would be able to call you and just have a quick little chat and kind of walk through it.
Yeah. And I mean, what's glorious about COVID, which is in a weird way, is that everybody knows how to use Zoom and everybody knows how to use FaceTime. So we have these tools that I can help people from far away. And that's why it's like the reach is so much better.
Yeah, yeah. And then I know you also discussed with me a little bit about some of the resources that you offer. And so where can people find that? And then what does that look like and such?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on every platform except for Twitter. Don't do the Twitter, but yeah, I do tons of free tips and resources on Instagram at Girlie Garage, YouTube at Girlie Garage. There's all kinds of free stuff on there. And honestly, the number one resource is sitting in your glove box. So
Well, you just taught me this. So you share.
yeah, I mean, your car is lined out in your owner's manual. So if you're like, wait a second, they're telling me that my battery's dead. How do I even find my battery? What does it look like? Is there corrosion on my battery? Like all of that information is in your owner's manual. Oh, I have a light out. Your owner's manual will literally tell you how to change out your bulbs. You don't have to pay anybody to do that.
Really?
Yeah, there's so much good stuff in there. So you should be checking your oil levels regularly, how to do that, exactly how to do that step by step with pictures in your owner's manual. Love that resource.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you taught me that today as we were discussing a little bit earlier. So, it's sometimes I think the owner's manual, you don't know what to look up to, you know what I mean? So I think, but with your resources, with maybe talking to the technician, then you can feel a little bit more empowered, and feel like you know what you're talking about. Anything
Yeah,
else you
you could
want to?
also,
No, go ahead.
you could put that book, like you could just set it on the back of your toilet and read it when you're sitting there.
Yeah, you have some extra free time. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Anything else you want to share with us? I mean, I post this on LinkedIn mostly. We'll probably include it in our school newsletter. But if there's anything else you want to share some more info, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, honestly, we climb into these very expensive machines every day and hurtle ourselves down the freeway at 80 plus miles an hour. And just that thought alone, or literally the ignorance, can make you feel very nervous about this vehicle. And I want people to feel confident that they're comfortable in this vehicle because the only thing connecting you to the ground is your tires. So, I mean, there's some very, very basic maintenance. I have a how to prep for a road trip, which goes over those like very basic maintenance items on YouTube. And that can get you through, things that you might be worried about every day. It's like, okay, am I getting good gas mileage? Well, the number one thing that affects your gas mileage is your tire pressure.
Mhm.
Is my car going to blow up? Let's check the oil and make sure.
Right.
And when cars blow up, just for the record, it's not like in the movies. Like
They don't
you're
just explode.
exactly, yeah, your engine gets mad if there's not enough oil, there's not enough lubrication, because cars are very much like our bodies.
Mhm.
So your blood is kind of like the car's oil.
Mhm.
The car has a brain, which is its ECU. Older cars have a heart, which is its distributor, or in newer cars' case, like the ignition coils. So the way that a car functions and all of its systems work together is very much like a body. And so you need to feed and take care of your body. And
Mhm.
same thing with your car. You just take care and do preventative maintenance, and that thing will keep taking care of you.
Perfect. And as we're talking, I just think that I would love if we could partner a little bit together and talk to schools together. We have a lot of instructors who don't really know how to attract females into their program. And I think you would be a great resource for them. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, I would love that. Honestly, like girls, no offense to the boys out there, but first of all, we have smaller hands. And so we can get into places a lot easier.
Yeah.
And it's not about a question of strength. because the tools we have nowadays are all about leverage.
Yeah.
So if you physically want to work on cars, it's available to you, and they make a really good living.
Yeah.
If you don't want to work on cars, but you want to use that knowledge to do fun stuff like work on race teams or work for Porsche, at Porsche, I never wrenched. I worked in parts and I worked in the front of house, and that's where the money is. So, yeah, you can use that knowledge. Like, it's so broad. So I highly recommend that women get into this industry because we're good at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Talena, thank you so much. I'm glad to have you as a new friend. And like I said, I'm gonna be hitting you up and hopefully getting some schools, just to have a little info session with you. So
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to bringing more women on board because, like I said, we're good at it. It's fun. It's rewarding. You help people. There's just so much goodness in there. Like, we're going to do it together.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Talena. I'll be in touch.